I don't usually post videos on Sundays, but when I do, it's usually because something really, really cool has happened. And today is exactly one of those instances. This follower of mine on Twitter, I'm going to guess that's Steven, spelled a little bit differently, but Steven nonetheless, tweeted this image at me. It looks like the Pixel Fold is coming very, very soon. And this is a screenshot from their phone showing mobilefun.fr, and this is a case for the Pixel Fold. If you don't know, these case makers, in order to have a case ready for a phone, they get designs, dimensions, and so forth of upcoming phones far before anyone else. Maybe not anyone else, but far before a lot of other people, so that the cases can be ready to ship right when the phone is being launched. So, a lot of the time, case makers are the ones who end up leaking final designs of phones, and it appears that is exactly one of these instances. So what did I do? Well, I went to mobilefun.fr and I searched for Pixel Fold, and what do you know? A whole slew of Pixel Fold cases showing various different things. We're going to take a look at all of these cases and see what new information we can see about the Pixel Fold, besides the fact that the design that we've been seeing floating around in these renders for the last few months appears to be absolutely 100% correct. I think these first three are going to be pretty much identical, but we'll click on one and we'll see what we have. So this is your Pixel Fold, and you can see that camera island, not quite a camera visor, but more of an island, does look identical to the renders that we've been looking at. Let me pull one of them up here. You can see what I mean. Let's zoom in. This looks identical. I still don't know what this little series of dots is, but the series of dots are present there as well. If we look at the cover display, one thing that does look a little bit different to my eye is the lack of bezel on the hinge side, which not only looks a bit slimmer than it does in these renders, considerably slimmer. It looks considerably slimmer than it does on the Galaxy Z Fold devices. So if that is true, man, oh man, that is a heck of a cover display design, and the hinge must be absolutely incredible. This may or may not be totally accurate. Hard to say on that front. One thing that makes me think it's not accurate is that if you look at the front portion of their case, this section here does not appear to be visible here, right? That's missing. So I don't think that part is accurate. I think it's going to look like this and not like this, which isn't the end of the world, but it's definitely something to take note of. An interesting one, though, we also have this wireless charger, and this is a big departure for the Pixel Fold because it has, for one, a hole punch selfie camera and no bezel top and bottom, whereas, again, the renders, let me pull up a different render, shows the opposite. It shows a rather thick bezel top and bottom, and the camera nested top right in that. So I believe this to also be a mock-up, and more things that point towards this is the old wallpaper, the old sort of styling being used. This does appear to be a mock-up, so don't take this 100% to be true. After seeing all this, though, I decided to do the obvious thing. Let's go to Google and let's search for Pixel Fold cases, and we're going to get a couple of examples here. Here's one on eBay. Let's open that up. Mobile Fun pops up. Here's one from AliExpress. We can open up that as well. Mobile Fun, eBay. Okay, we'll leave it with those for now. Here's an eBay listing, and this, I think, is a little bit funky looking. You can see it's kind of blurry. It definitely looks like, look at that top corner. That's definitely being sort of superimposed. So again, I don't think all of these things can be taken as 100% gospel, but I think this is going to be more true to life. The spacing of the hinge looks more accurate. What I'm guessing this case maker has a hold of is perhaps a render of the device, and they're superimposing their case on top of it. AliExpress has a bunch of similar stuff like this as well. Of course, in their instance, they're not showing it actually on a device. They're just showing the case just laying there separately. Now, what's important to note with some of these smaller case makers, someone you're finding on eBay, it's possible that they have had a render created based on the renders that were leaked. So we can't necessarily say that that render is correct. However, the fact that they are selling a case, they're selling a product, right? Which means if this doesn't fit the Pixel Fold when it comes out, it's going to immediately be returned. And the same is going to be true for Mobile Fun and any other case maker. So again, in order to be able to sell these cases, they must know the dimensions of the device. Therefore, that's pretty much what the device is going to look like, because again, like I said earlier, it's not unusual for these case makers. It's actually quite usual for them to have these dimensions well ahead of the device's actual release. Now, most recent rumors are that the Pixel Fold is going to be shown off at the Google I/O event, which I believe is coming up in May, and then potentially released as soon as June. And I am so excited. I can hardly stand it. This is, at this point, my most anticipated device. I think that this thing looks absolutely fantastic. And before we kind of close this off, I just want you to look at this cover display one more time. And I want you to tell me what that kind of vaguely reminds you of. It's not as wide and short as Surface Duo's screens are. It's not quite as short and wide as the Oppo Find N screens are, and maybe to you that's actually a good thing. What this is doing is it's finding a middle ground between the Oppo Find N, between the Surface Duo, and a more normal phone, and I think that that is going to be one heck of a sweet spot for this phone to exist in. Again, I'm extremely excited. Big shout out to Steven for sending this over to me, because who knows when I would have seen this otherwise. If you want more content just like this, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you on the next one. Of course, I'll be reviewing the Pixel Fold when it comes out. Tons of Pixel Fold videos coming. I'll see you in those videos. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.